I deleted my son's number, not because I stopped loving him, but because I finally understood something that broke me. For 2 years, I waited for his call, every morning, every night. And then one day, I realized I wasn't being forgotten. I was being avoided. If you're still waiting for someone to call you, don't skip this. I'm 84 years old, and loneliness doesn't arrive the way people think. It doesn't knock loudly. It doesn't warn you. It settles in quietly, like dust on furniture you stop noticing. At first, you tell yourself they're busy, they'll call later, it's just a phase. But days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and slowly, hope becomes routine. Every morning, I followed the same routine. I would wake up slowly, sit at the edge of the bed, and listen to the silence in the house. I made coffee, not because I needed it, but because it gave me something to do while I waited. Then I would sit near the window with my phone in my hand. It wasn't ringing, it was just there. And every few minutes I would check it, even though I already knew nothing had changed. Tell me something honestly. How many times have you done that? Picked up your phone just to check, even though deep down you already knew no one had called. And still, you hoped. Maybe I missed it. Maybe the phone was silent. Maybe today is different. That maybe can keep a person stuck for years. I have 2 sons. I won't say they're bad because they're not. They have their own lives, their own families, their own responsibilities. But somewhere along the way, I stopped being part of that life. And the truth is, I didn't even notice when it happened, because I was too busy working. I worked for most of my life, long hours, tired evenings, missed moments. I told myself I was doing it for them, that this is what a father does. He sacrifices, he provides, he gives everything. But now I sit here and wonder, did I give them everything except myself? Because love isn't just providing, it's presence. And I learned that too late. One night, I called my son. He didn't answer, so I left a message. A long one, longer than it should have been. Later that night, I listened to it, and what I heard shattered me. It wasn't just a father speaking. It was a man asking, hoping, needing. There was a quiet desperation in my voice that I didn't hear when I recorded it. But hearing it back, I couldn't ignore it anymore. That was the moment everything changed. Because I realized something I didn't want to admit. I wasn't calling him because I had something to give. I was calling him because I needed something back. I needed reassurance. I needed to feel remembered. I needed to feel like I still mattered. And that kind of need slowly turns into pressure. And here's the truth that hurts the most. People don't run away from love. They run away from pressure. Even the silent kind. The kind you don't even realize you're creating. Every missed call, every message, every call me when you can, it builds something, a weight, a feeling that becomes harder to respond to over time. The next morning, I picked up my phone. I opened my contacts. I stared at his name for a long time. My hands were shaking. I didn't want to do it. Every part of me was telling me to stop. But deep down, I knew I had to. So I took a breath, and I deleted his number. Nothing dramatic happened. The world didn't stop. The house was still quiet. But something inside me shifted. The first few days felt strange. My hand kept reaching for my phone out of habit, like something was missing. Because something was. Not my son, but my habit of waiting. Days passed, then weeks. And slowly, I started doing things differently. One afternoon, I called an old friend I hadn't spoken to in years. I didn't overthink it. I just dialed. He answered. We talked for a long time, about nothing important, and somehow everything important. A few days later, I went into my garage. I hadn't spent real time there in years. Tools were sitting there, covered in dust. I picked one up, then another. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like a forgotten father. I felt like a man again. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something that had nothing to do with waiting? Because that's the real question. Not why they aren't calling, but what you're doing while they don't. Weeks went by. I stopped checking my phone every few minutes. I stopped waking up expecting something that wasn't coming. And slowly, I started living again. And then one day, my phone rang. I looked at it for a moment before answering. It was my son. His voice sounded different. He said, "Dad, you sound different. Are you okay?" And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the need to explain myself. I simply said, "I'm fine. I've just been busy." And I was, because I wasn't waiting anymore. Now listen carefully. I'm not telling you that if you do this, your children will come back. Some won't. Some people choose distance, and that's a reality you have to accept. And yes, it hurts. It hurts more than most people understand. But here's what I can tell you. You don't bring people back by chasing them. You don't fix distance by holding on tighter. Sometimes, the only way to fix what's broken is to stop forcing it. My phone still sits next to me. Sometimes it rings, sometimes it doesn't. But one thing has changed. I don't sit there staring at it anymore. And maybe you shouldn't either.